Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Knitting All the Blankets podcast. My name is Corey, and in this episode, and I have a hair sticking up. Oh well. This is my pre-Hurricane Irma knitting podcast. For those of you that aren't aware, Hurricane Irma is headed towards Florida. Today's Tuesday, September 5th, and we won't know till Thursday or Friday if she's going to be here. Personally, I've been through hurricanes. I could take them or leave them. The only good thing I foresee about this hurricane coming is I may get time off work to knit. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So if we do get time off work, hopefully I will have a lot of progress updates to show you. Not in the finished objects post, but in my progress video for October. Drinking coffee in my lovely Tinkerbell mug. Mornings aren't magical. Usually I don't even have a drink with me when I do this podcast, but I'm actually thirsty this morning. So I'm just going to set that down. If I set it on the table, my camera's on, it just shakes it. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, all the non-dishcloth projects that are going on. I have made some progress. The title of this episode is going to be Slow Progress Update, because I just didn't feel like knitting. It was weird. I just did not feel like knitting. Alright, so first thing on the list is the boneyard shawl. Now, I've actually made quite a bit of progress with the boneyard shawl. I'm just sliding stuff over. I got through my second color, the hot pink. Let me just take it out. I put 24 rows on it since the last time you saw it. So here's my little houndstooth progress keeper. So I've put 2 ridges on it since. And for funsies, I tried to guesstimate just how many stitches I think this is right now. And based on my approximation, but I'm probably wrong, I've got about 210 stitches on here. And if that calculation sounds wrong, it probably is, because, let's face it, I really screwed up in this first section. So, I'm on the third, I call it the third section because I'm on the third color or third ball of yarn. So I've just I didn't tie it in, but I've started on the second ball of the Cupcake Peter Pan colorway, or the Peter Pan Cupcake colorway. I'm still not entirely sure what that is, which way that goes. I probably should look, but I'm not that far into it. Here's the ball. There's still a good chunk left. There's still a little bit of the pink left. I probably could have gotten another row out of the pink. Possibly, but I only had like that little bit left. And I wanted to save it for another 10 stitch blanket, because you guys know I like my 10 stitch blankets. Oh, let me pause this real quick. Hang on. Okay, sorry about that. I realized I didn't turn my AC off, and my AC is very noisy, especially since the wall behind me, the AC handler's behind there. So if it were to kick on during my video, that's all you could hear. It drowns me out. So anyways, boneyard shawl. What was I talking about? Oh, I have this much pink left because I have my own personal 10 stitch blanket that I will eventually make. And in a similar fashion of the mini skein 10 stitch blanket, that one's going to be very much yarns that I like and I think are pretty, or were project specific, like all the leftover little balls of acrylic from my brother's blankets and everything. Those will go in there and all that stuff. So that's it's similar in a way to the Cozy Memories blanket. I'm just doing a 10 stitch blanket with the little bits of yarn that I have left over. Yeah, because here's the first little bit of cupcake. So it'll be this, then another one of these, then the teal, and then my last cupcake. This also means, with as big as this thing is now, that I have officially completely rolled over. Where's my row counter? That's the one problem with using just like a tote bag for your knitting bag, is stuff gets lost in there. So I've done a full turnover on my row counter. It's just a little one. It says I'm on row 9, which means when I pick this up again, I'll change it to 10 and go from there. And the reason why I do it that way is on the pattern, which you can get off Ravelry. It's Boneyard Trawl by Stephen West. It's a free pattern. But you see I've written in increments of 12 because the pattern says every 12th row you do something different. And that's how I did it. So that also means when I got to 96 and I did the 12th row pattern for the 96th row, I just went ahead and zeroed this out again and started over. So that means in 3 more rows, I have another ridge coming. So that's the Boneyard shawl. So I'm very proud of that. Checking my notes. All right, next thing. Mini skein 10 stitch. Well, if any of you have ever made a 10 stitch blanket, you'll know that the bigger it gets, the longer the sides take. And I swear, and I've done a full one before, and I think because the yarn I'm using is so small and the needles I'm using are so small, it just seems like it's taking even longer. Because for some reason, I just seem to fly faster with when I was working on the camo one, and I was just using random acrylics for that and size US 10 double points. Well, for this one, if you all have been keeping up, I'm trying not to let my yarn ball fall on the floor. I turned last time you saw this, I was at this corner. That progress keeper never wants to turn over. It is my little USA one. So I did turn that corner, and then I've knitted all this, and I am at the orange yarn in the Rainbow Rambouillet, cake. So I'm there. And that just sits all nice and pretty in my rosewood yarn bowl. Oops, my yarn is caught. Crap. And this bowl was a Christmas gift from my mother-in-law, and she bought it from A Darn Good Yarn. They're based out of India. You can just Google that, learn all about them. So that's there. I've got both of my row counters in here just in case, because you know when I work on this, I like to keep track of, on one of them, I keep track of how many rows I'm knitting that day. And then if I get to a corner, I don't want to have to do math, so I just bring this one out for my directions for the corner, which I have printed out. I had to kind of retype them and put them in language that I understood, because I have a hard time sometimes with Frankie's patterns. And then I just keep track of it on here, and I kind of have, where'd it go? I have like dueling row counters. It's kind of funny. So I'm right here on this side. So I'm hoping by the next progress update video, I will have either gotten here or I've at least turned the corner. But as you all know, I'm not even holding this right. I'm holding it upside down. So I'm right there. But for those of you that know what it's like to knit this blanket, the bigger it is, the longer it takes to knit. So I'm having to be a little patient with myself, and that doesn't always happen. And I'll need to remember to move the progress keeper up to here so that you all will know what my actual progress was. So there's that. Put all that back in its basket. And the basket it's in is just my fall pumpkin patch basket for right now because it still fits. Oh, notes. I'm also my 10 stitch blanket out of all my projects. It's the one I'm considering as my back burner project between, cotton dishcloths for craft show inventory and wanting to get the blanket squares done for Eric's blanket. Those are my two top priorities. I'd love to finish the Boneyard shawl soon, but who knows. So that one is the main back burner project. I will get more dishcloths done for craft show season or work on more squares for Eric's blanket before I'll pick that up. So it's low priority. Boneyard shawl is also kind of low priority, but it's starting to get really fast for me. So we'll see. All right, speaking of Eric's blanket, I think last progress video I was done with the cherry and I told you I was moving on to the white. Well, I did that, and in a previous video, I don't know if I showed you all the acrylic yarn caked up. Yeah, those cakes didn't handle very well being pulled from. They kind of collapsed in on themselves. Non-acrylic yarn does not give me this issue, but Red Heart acrylic yarn has. So what I ended up doing was I just ended up balling it all back up. So if anybody's ever thinking of trying to cake up just standard Red Heart acrylic, let me save you the time and energy. Just don't do it. Just ball it up. It's the easiest way to go if you're worried about it collapsing on itself. And this just makes it nice and easy. This is one of my larger travel size project bags. It was made by my friend Tiffy, and it's got spokes and cogs on it and everything, and it seemed very steampunkish to me. And the inside is just this I don't even know what kind of design this is. I want to say filigree, but it's not. So yeah, the ball of yarn and the needles just stay in here. And then I got a nice little notions pouch from my friend Anne at Twin Mommy Creations. They're so cute. And really all I have in here, other than an end that I cut off, there's the other one, is just a little pair of scissors. That's all. That's all that's in here because I don't do my weaving in of the ends until after I do my finished objects post video, and then while that's uploading, I sit and sew in all the ends for all of Eric's squares and all the dishcloths and everything. So that just stays in there. Yep. So those are the three main projects. Because it's a new month, that means I've started new cotton. I am working on Bernat Squishy, and it is, I'm not going to bring it over because I have an almost finished dishcloth on it, so I like holding that out until the finished objects post because it is knitting up really cool. The Squishy is a twist, and I love it. I really love it, and I think you guys will too. So that means I'm still on my first cone of that. I already talked about I somehow worked in my knitting priorities list way before I was supposed to, but anyways. Yeah, that's it for right now. We're battening down the hatches, preparing for Hurricane Irma, should she decide to pay us a visit. Yeah, there is a Ravelry group. How did I forget to mention the Ravelry group? if you just look up Knitting All the Blankets podcast on Ravelry, you're welcome to join the group. We have a introduce yourself thread and an ask me thread. You will, because it's been so long since anybody posted in there, you will have to hit the more tab or link, and it'll bring up all the posts from the podcast. So show notes will be on the Ravelry group, and I think that's it. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in a few weeks, and hopefully I'll remember to give you a hurricane update, not only on knitting progress, but if anything happened. We're pretty secure here at our house, so metal roof, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a few weeks with finished objects. So I'll see you later. Bye.